Hello, and in this video we're going to use Onshape to create ISO number 13. So to do this, we'll start with the base, we'll add in our holes, and then add in this upper portion and put a slot in and extrude it out. So first we have to count how long the base is, so it's 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more, so 2 and 7 gives us a total of 9, and a height of 1 and 2. So let's go to Onshape, start our object by making a document, titling it ISO 13, and we'll hit OK. Then we're going to start a sketch. I'm just going to put it on the front plane and change my view to the front. From there, I'm just going to make a rectangle, put it on the origin, and click, and then put in my measurements. 9 across, enter, 2 up, enter. Then we hit the green check. I'm going to change my view so you can see a little better, and we'll extrude it. If we look back, we can count it to the distance of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to do it. Click inside the shape and then set the value to 4 and hit enter, and our green check accepts that. Then if we look back, we can see it's got rounded edges on the right hand side, so we want to add in those rounded edges by using what's called a fillet. So the fillet tool, we just click on those two edges, and when we set the value, if we look back, it's got a radius of 1, 2. So we're going to set a radius of 2 and hit enter. So that gives us those rounded edges, and we accept it with the green check. Next, we're going to add in the holes. So you can see it's got 2 holes. Both of them have a diameter of 1, 2. The first one is concentric from the edge, and then the second one has a distance of 1, 2, 3 from the center of that one to the center of the other circle. So that's how we're going to place them on there. So I'm going to start my sketch, put it on the top, turn to my top view, and start with a circle. The first circle I want concentric. I'm going to get this concentric point. You could also add a constraint afterwards if you do not start there. But I'm going to start there and set my value to 2. Then I'm going to add a second circle with a diameter of 2. And I'm going to dimension this one to make sure it's in the right location. So I'm going to go from the center of the first circle to the center of the second circle, pull it up, and give it a value of 3 is what we're counting. Then I'm going to make sure it's on the same horizontal line, or I could dimension it from the side. So since I'm already in the dimension tool, I'm just going to dimension it from the side. So I click from the center to the side, and I'm going to pull it way over out of the way and type in a value of 2 as well. You can see that makes it black, so it's fully constrained. So I'm going to accept the sketch, and then I'm going to extrude. I'm going to make it a remove, and it cuts all the way through, so we're going to change where it says blind through all. Then just click inside our 2 circles, and if my computer catches up to me, we'll be able to cut those out. Our green check's going to accept it. We can change our view, and you can see it's cutting through that object. Next, we need to come over here on this left-hand side and add in this upper portion. It goes up a distance of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need a height of 5 on that to get to the top of the object, and it goes in a depth of 2. So that gives us that outline of our shape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is where it starts to cut off. We may want to go up an additional 6 because of that rounded edge is cut off. So to get the full depth of that object, we're going to have to go all the way up to 6. So 6 high and 2 deep. So if I sketch it, I just can sketch it on the top, turn my view. I'm just going to do a rectangle starting in that top corner, and I'm going to come down to the bottom line and then set my distance over to a value of 2. You can see it makes it fully constrained. It makes the lines black. We can accept that. Then I'm going to change my view so you can see it extrude up. I'm going to hit extrude. I click inside that rectangle, and then I type in a value of 6 and enter. Hit the green check to accept that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and click the corner so you can see it. Then we're going to fillet those edges. You can see it's rounded at the top, so it's got those rounded edges that match that rounded edge over here. It's the diameter is going to end up being the value of 1 and 2. So we need a fillet. Click on those two edges and change that value or the radius to 2. Hit enter, and the green fillet gives us what we're looking for. So that gives us the shape. Lastly, we need to cut this slot out. So we have to be able to create a slot and cut it out. We've created a slot in one of our earlier ones, but we'll show you how again. So hit sketch. We're going to go on the front of this kind of tombstone looking piece, and we're going to sketch a line in. So I'm going to put a line. I'm going to start right at this point, right at the midpoint, and go straight down. So I want to make sure it's going straight down. You click, and if we count how far down it is from the top, we can see it's got a distance of 1, 2, 3 down from the top. So if I'm from the bottom, it's 1, 2, 3 from the bottom, so it splits it in half. So I'm going to type in a value of 3 and hit enter. From there, next I'm going to come up to this kind of offset looking, it's an offset, and then I want to go down to slot. Once I have the slot tool selected, I'm just going to click on this line. If you zoom out a little bit, you can see it's making this dimension on top. So when I click, I then can change that dimension. If we look back at our picture, it's got a radius of 1 or a diameter of 2 in this case. So we come back and it was a diameter, so we want to change that value to 2 and hit enter. We use the green check to accept our sketch, and then lastly we just have to extrude cut. So we hit remove, click inside. I'm going to change my view so we can see that it's cutting, and we want it to cut through all. So blind through all, hit our green check, and it cuts that slot out for us. So hopefully this helps in your creation of ISO 13. That slot can be a little tricky there, but otherwise it's not too bad. Good luck.